From the time I came to Auburn, I was really not qualified for engineering. As a matter of fact, a lot of my teachers said, you don't need to go to Auburn and study engineering because you can't make it. And that made me even more determined that I could make it, and I would try to make it, and that gave me some determination. And so the Dean of Engineering, when I told him that everybody up here was smarter than me, he says, well, do you know what that means? And I said, no. He says, well, 75% of being smart is studying. And I said, oh. So from that time on, I hit the books. I studied every chance I got, and it made a lot of difference. I was home one weekend, and there was a girl in Newton that was going to school in Ozark, and I asked her about getting me a date. And so she ended up getting me a date with Gail. But she said, now, Gail's folks don't let her go out with folks she doesn't know. So when you go to the door, make it like that you know Gail. So I did, and when I picked Gail up, her mother came to the door, and I said, is Gail here? And she says, yes. I said, how's she doing, this, that, and the other? So she got Gail, and Gail and I walked out on her porch. I said, are you Gail? And she says, yeah. Are you Holman? That's what people call me then, John Holman. They call me Holman. And I said, yeah. So that started it right there, I guess. It was actually 4 years later we got married. You know, when I was working civil service, you sit there and you see these other engineers around you, and you look around and they're all looking at their watch, seeing what time it is till they can go home. And so I talked to some of them, and I asked them, I said, what's your plan? I said, what do you mean? He said, well, I'm gonna work till I'm 65 and I'm gonna retire. And I was thinking to myself, they ought to be more to this than that. And I would see these other people, the contractors, and they would come in and they would be laughing and carrying on and cutting up. And I said, you know, that looks like something I ought to do instead of this guy here that's an engineer, and he's gonna work till he's 65 and retire. That doesn't look like that's what I wanna do. So during that time, I decided I needed to get away from the civil service program and get out where what I did, I got paid for. That I just didn't sit there and draw money from then on. For some people, that might be the best approach, but it wasn't for me. So in all the businesses I've been involved in and started, not only is the business look like it had a good profitability, but that I had key people that might have been the best in the land or whatever to start that business. And it's worked out really, really well.
He's got such a reputation of being honest and fair and gonna do a quality job. And so when people already interact with him and come to him, they've already got that sense of trust because of his reputation.
You know, a lot of people think, well, I'm fixing to do a business deal, and so somebody's gonna win and somebody's gonna lose. But that's not true. Everybody needs to be a winner. If the deal's not good for both parties, then you don't need to do it.
I remember when I first moved back to Dothan, I was in my early 20s, and had a lot less kids, so I had more time to play, but we would go play tennis with him. My team would always lose to his team, and he would always come over to the sideline afterwards and say, how does it feel to be beat by a guy who's on Social Security and Medicare? So he would just continue to rub it in your face, and there'd be many times where he'd hit a shot down the alley and he'd go, whose alley is that? So he's just constantly being competitive. I think that's what I love about it, is I love coming to work every day, getting to see him and do some cool things, but get to do it right there beside him. The majority of my life, I only knew him as a grandfather, and you know, now I can call him one of my best friends, you know, so he probably is my best friend just because I get to see him every day.